When we talk about dreams pop... fuck. Take two. When we talk about Dream Pop's finest duo, we gotta go back to 2006. Baltimore natives Alex Scally and Victoria LeGrand meet in Baltimore. They drop their first self-titled debut album. They go on to create some of the most iconic indie music of all time. And eventually, in 2018, they create something truly special. But we will get there. So with the early work, you have their self-titled and Devotion, which were more stripped back than what they're doing now. They were focused more vocally on Victoria than instrumentally, and they seemed to be going for more of an acoustic sound. 2010, they dropped Teen Dream, which has probably been the most influential indie album in the 2010s. I'll go as far as saying so many current artists are still using this sound and have used it throughout the entire decade. But Teen Dream perfected dream pop and acousticness together, mixing those two, and it's easy to see why Teen Dream has become such a classic album. 2012, they dropped Bloom, which is pretty much a more lush version of Teen Dream and their earlier work. And they stuck with that sound for the next few albums. A couple people gave them hate because they were bored of this current sound. But now, let's talk about 2018. While shoegaze has always been prevalent in some of Beach House's music, what they were able to do with Seven is simply incredible. And while not every song on here is pure shoegaze, we'll get to that in a minute, but the ones that are all amazing. Seven had a different feel than all of their other albums. There were more guitars, there was more balance of shoegaze in dream pop, and they did all of this without overproducing it. But while not every song was purely shoegaze, as I was talking about earlier, I do think there's three categories that we can put the songs from Seven into. Category 1, chill dream pop. So these are the songs that I would say are closest to what Beach House has done before. They're mellowed out, relaxing, not overly produced, there's not a lot of stuff going on instrumentally, and there's three songs I'd put into this category. The first is Pay No Mind, which is really relaxing and just a really chill track. It's the second track on the album, so it just gets you into a certain mind state. I would say it's a necessary track because it's sandwiched in between Dark Spring and Lemon Glow, and those are two of the more epic tracks on Seven. The next one I'd choose is Lose Your Smile. It's more stripped back than most of Seven, and probably my least favorite on the whole album. It's not a bad song, but it's not as progressive as what else is on here. And the last one for the chill dream pop section I chose was Girl of the Year. Girl of the Year could have easily gone into one of the next two categories, but I figured I'd put it here just because I didn't want to only have two songs in this section. Honestly, in my opinion, it just sounds like a better version of Lose Your Smile, but that's just me. So the reason I chose this section of songs is because I feel they're the weakest on Seven and can be improved on a future album, which is ultimately what this entire video is about, but we'll get into that after we talk about the next two sections of songs. The next section of songs I want to talk about is the shoegaze section, which takes up a multitude of the album. This is a very shoegazy project by Beach House, but the first song I'm obviously going to be talking about is Dark Spring. Even though Beach House has released Zebra and Myth, I think Dark Spring is their best intro. I love Victoria's melody line, I love the synths in the background, and I love the contrast between noisiness and quiet. The next song I picked for the shoegaze section is Dive, and the first half of Dive is a bit mellowed out, and it could definitely fit into the dream pop section of the album. But after those guitars kick in the second half and the really, really nasty drum beat kicks in the second half, I can't not consider it shoegaze, and it's just a really fun track to add to the album. The third track from the shoegaze section we'll be talking about is Woo, and I saw a lot of people saying this is their least favorite, which I just don't understand. I love how happy it is, and the synths being used are super cool. You don't hear synths very often in a shoegaze track, so it was super cool that Beach House was able to use them, and not only that, but use them effectively. And finally, the last song for the shoegaze section is Last Ride. Even though Last Ride, being the longest song on the project, could probably fit into every category in this video, I picked the shoegaze section because the ending of it fits with that more closely than the other two. So yeah, Last Ride belongs in the shoegaze section, mainly purely based on the epicness of it. The next batch of tracks I chose are considered the ethereal / ascension tracks on the album. And these tracks are ultimately the reason why I'm even making this video. Every single one of these is incredible, and Beach House needs to stick with this sound. I'm calling it the ethereal / ascension section just because of how atmospheric these are. They make you feel like you're on a different plane that doesn't exist in our world. The first song I picked for this was Lemon Glow. I think Lemon Glow is the trippiest song in the Beach House discography. That beat goes absolutely insane. It doesn't sound like a song that Beach House 10 years ago would have ever made, and I love the chaos of it. It is amazing. The next song I chose is L'Inconnu, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know it's French. It's French for the unknown, actually. Not much happens in the first half, but the way Victoria creates that bridge in the second makes the wait completely worth it. After that, I picked Black Car, which is probably the best song on here for a night drive, and just one of the best songs to play at night in general. Super interesting beat, and I'm not really sure what instruments are being used on it, but it's super cool regardless. And the last track I picked for this section was Drunk in LA, which might be my favorite on the whole album. I think the lyrics on Drunk in LA make it 1,000 times better, just Victoria reminiscing on high school days. It's so nostalgic, and the beat makes you feel like you're literally in a time machine. And that guitar solo at the end is fantastic. Whoever played guitar for this album did just an absolutely incredible job. Now, I know what you're thinking. I reviewed all of 7, when am I gonna get into what the title of the video is about? Well, we have one more song to talk about. So 2 months after the release of 7, Beach House dropped a single titled Alien, and that is one of the many reasons I'm even making this video right now. Alien is ultimately why I believe Beach House's next album is going to be their best. Every single type of song mentioned here, from the chill dream pop to the shoegaze to the ethereal, is present in Alien. Not only that, the crazy guitar rhythms are in it. Victoria's melody lines go absolutely insane on that song. And there's a very bittersweet feeling about it, even though it sounds happy to the naked ear. So back to 7. I think 7 is very close to a perfect album, but I'm not going to call it that because I believe Beach House can do better. After hearing Alien, I know what this duo has in them, and I am convinced that they have not released their magnum opus yet. I do think Alien is a perfect song. If Beach House is able to take that production and mix it with even more introspective lyrics and maybe a concept behind the album, I think it will be the greatest project they've released thus far. Considering they haven't released anything for 2 years, I think it's safe to say they're probably hard at work at the moment, and I'm very excited to see what they have in store for next time. So the answer to why Beach House's next album will be their best is simply Alien. I'm not kidding when I say it is one of the most creative songs I've ever heard at infusing shoegaze, dream pop, and indie rock all into one. And if they are able to do that for every single song on a new project, it would be one of the greatest things my ears will ever have the pleasure of hearing. With all that said, that's gonna do it for this video. It was definitely a different type of video for this channel, but it was fun. Another video essay type thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this style of video. I might do more later. Anyway, thank you again, and I will see you guys.